Mm. Oh, I love that tea. A little bit of chai tea, and then a little bit of honey. Yummy, yummy. But yeah, anyways, so House of the Dragon. That's how she would say it. House of the Dragon.
She'll work on it. She's gonna hear this, and it'll make her work on it for next time.
I hope so.
Although she won't be back, probably. You think after this season it'll be a big time jump, right? Maybe.
Oh, that's a good
Maybe
point.
skip some kids.
That's a good point. Yeah, maybe she's reaching the end of her place in the timeline. She'll maybe get replaced with another actress or something. So I would bet money that the next episode will be as this one was, which is if not minutes, days after this. So I'm betting it's going to jump to Team Black, and it's going to be there won't be another time jump this season. That's what I would bet.
I think so too.
And
Wouldn't that be crazy to have a time jump for the last episode? That would be so over the top. It would be so hard to pull off.
it would be, especially with how this one ended.
Right.
Because Rhaenys, I think next episode opens up with Rhaenys showing up to Dragonstone to tell Rhaenyra and Daemon what's happened. Mm-hmm. Does a lot have to happen for there to be a showdown? You think there'll be a showdown in the coming episode?
I would imagine it's the season finale, and it's all the build up of the whole season of the princess versus queen
The whole season.
fight.
Really.
Rhaenyra versus Alicent. I'm still thinking a hand-to-hand battle isn't out of the question. I mean, what if somehow some man in the situation is just you know what? You guys have been fighting for so long. Here's the special dagger. Here's another special dagger. Just have it out, and we'll go with whoever wins.
They are building that dagger up.
I know. What if, dude? It could happen. Although there's definitely going to be a lot of dragon stuff. This was a build up for a bigger dragon fight that we've been waiting for. I feel like if the last episode of this season doesn't deliver a pretty decent dragon fight, I'm going to be disappointed.
Agreed. Especially after that last scene, because I thought we were about to see some Crispies.
I mean,
Some
I
crispy
think
treats.
everyone thought that.
I loved your reaction. Was hilarious. You were just like, dragon stuff? Because, it was dragon stuff. There was it was technically dragon stuff. It just wasn't the dragon stuff that you thought it was about to be.
Right.
So,
I mean, even if that made sense for her to bash through and then just leave, that could have been a cool scene by itself. But it just didn't make sense. It was just why would you not just keep killing them?
Right. What does she have to gain?
No, she's leaving all of them alive, and she's attacking them. So what she's going to gain is a bunch of enemies. I don't understand. If she killed them all right then, it would have been a whole different situation.
Did she not think it was honorable?
She just crashed through the front gate during
Exactly.
the wedding, or not the wedding, but the king ceremony, and just killed a bunch of commoners, knights, noblemen, just a bunch of random people in the middle of the room, got crushed by flying debris and dragons.
Tails and feet and
Dude, he's just stomping around for a minute, wrecking havoc. They get right up to him. He roars at Alicent. A dope roar. I'm not going to say that roar wasn't dope, but it should have been a breath of fire. He should have been wiping them out. I don't know what Rhaenys was thinking. It just seems like such a foolish play. Unless next episode it comes out that something really intelligent happens as a result of that play that Rhaenys did. I think that was foolish.
I agree that there very well could be. She might come in the next episode this was what I'm thinking, and it might be brilliant. But we've done that a lot in the last few episodes where it's well, maybe in the next episode.
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened yet, where it's there was something we had a problem with character-wise that was explained shortly after.
Sure.
Okay, that's why. So that's why he was jerking off in his window. It's I don't know. But Yeah, no, you're right. Rhaenys, she might have been thinking something smart at that point, and maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But I am just noting that I keep thinking that, like, well, maybe in the next episode they'll explain this, or they'll finish off this little tension, this bit of tension they built up. Maybe they'll resolve it in the next one. Because it just, again, it feels like it keeps happening, like tension, and episode's over.
Hey, speaking of tension, what's going on with Kristen Cole? That guy is like built up with tension. He's just like killing people left and right, it seems like.
Yeah, this was the other thing I had a problem with. The foot thing I had a problem with, but it's like, it's not a big deal. It wasn't, because it's not like character breaking. We can get to that, but Cole thing was the second big problem I had. I feel like there's deleted scenes of Cole saying stuff that would help with this scene.
Yeah, hopefully there is.
Maybe, but we don't have them.
Not a lot of backstory to how he's acting.
This tension with his buddy here, Harold. There's this tension with Harold we've seen hints of. There's the moment when Alicent is telling Cole to bring her like the eye of her nephew. That was a couple episodes ago, and now here we are. I just feel like it's undeveloped. I do. It's not that this couldn't be explained. It's that it's not really just the whole... He just smashes his head on the table and kills him, and a second time that he murders somebody in public in front of everybody, and there's not going to be any repercussion. So this isn't just nobody. I don't know what his name is, but he's not a nobody.
Yeah, I mean, what even was the excuse the first time? Like, I was thinking that too. That's something that was never resolved. Exactly. Alicent comes and finds him. Yeah. He goes out to kill himself. Christian Cole goes out to kill himself. And then Alicent finds him. And that's the end of what we see.
That's the end, exactly.
And then it's like years later, and he's just like another big boss of guards for Alicent.
Agreed.
And it just doesn't make sense. He should have been in big ass trouble. He killed a royal person's like lover.
Yeah, who was likely noble in his own right. He was somebody's son, and it could have been fleshed out a little bit. One more scene we could have seen, and I totally would believe Alicent pardoning him or something, but we just didn't get anything. And then now again we have a member of the small council. This whole show, for decades, we've had Lyman Beesbury is his name, and he's been... Yeah, he's kind of an important guy, so we'll see. Maybe something will come of it. This is all in one day, obviously, so it's not like there's been a whole lot of time. There's a lot going on, so I could see maybe the repercussions would be following these events, but I hope we see something. There's got to be something. But more than killing Lyman and getting away with it, because that can be explained. We needed more between Cole and Harold. I don't know what their relationship is at all. They could be adversarial. They could be, Harold's his mentor. I don't really know what their relationship is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know Harold's his boss.
I think they're just kind of saying, like, Christian Cole, to me, and this is unfortunate, to me, has been made into, like, a character who's just attached to Alicent, and that's, like, his whole honor now.
That's it.
He used to have honor, as he was taught kind of thing, and now his whole honor is based around Alicent, his whole, like, everything he thinks about. But, in terms of the other guy, he seemed very loyal to Viserys. So I think they've been both kind of unfortunately portrayed as like simple tools of their masters. And then you have a scene like this where there could have been more of their character fleshed out first, and it would have been a way more meaningful scene. I totally agree that there's just not enough backstory between the two of them. Sir Harold has been a good character straight through that I wish.
I love him. Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah.
He's not fleshed out enough from the beginning. There's definitely not enough of him when they're going to use him as such a pivotal piece.
I think there's a lot of potential there, but I agree there just isn't a lot to take from it. We can see that he's very loyal, as you mentioned, and He views his role in the Kingsguard as sacred for sure. He's always had an air of like, I'm taking this job super seriously, and totally agree too that Cole has focused all of that honor into Alicent. Unfortunately, did you feel like Alicent? She has a moment with Cole where she's asking him to go find Aegon.
Yeah, if it's romantic.
Yeah, did you get that vibe?
I was going to ask you actually the same question because I did get the vibe.
A little bit, yeah.
But I'm not sure that was explicit.
Everything you feel for me as your queen.
I will not fail you.
But it's definitely... Maybe they have had a romance for a while. It's hard to know, but there's definitely a vibe between them in that scene.
I think that was meant to be that way. I don't think that's just us taking it that way. I respect the writers enough at this point to say like what they do have in the show is very intentional. And when I see those like really clever little reactions people have, and the things that say way more than 100 lines could, those little like moments, I do trust them now to be intentional. Whereas sometimes you find they're just faces people are making and it doesn't mean much, but giving it the benefit of the doubt that it means something. And with that said, I think Alicent, she steps in closer, her voice lowers, and I think she was playing him a little bit. And yeah, maybe she has been for a while. I don't know.
I think so, man. I don't know. I would be surprised if she's ever been unloyal to Viserys. I would be surprised by that.
Agreed.
Not to say it's 100%. Not possible, but it would surprise me.
I would be upset if for some reason they were like, oh, her and Cole, big surprise, they've been sleeping together for 5, 6, 10 years. I would be really upset because they haven't built her up in that way. She really seemed to love Viserys.
Agreed.
Always seemed to honor him, and yeah, I wouldn't like that at all.
Even with her decision in this episode to push for Aegon to be king, she truly does believe that is Viserys' intention in that last breath. That's how I see this.
I'd bet money on it.
So I think that, she is not happy when she hears that they were conspiring against Rhaenyra already.
Nope. Even though it's what she set in motion.
Correct.
Like, she's really turned off by that. Yeah.
There's a lot of things like that with her where it's unintentional, but it's her that's kind of at the...
He should be on the small council at this point. Oh, so he's the master of whisperers, which is like Varys in Game of Thrones. But Varys was on the small council.
Larys and Varys.
So that's his title is Lord of Harrenhal.
Yep.
Masturbator of Whispers. And Lord Confessor.
Oh, God.
Wow. Oh, dude, that's it. So Lord Confessor, you know what he actually does in the dungeon? He is in charge of torture, which they haven't shown, but that's Lord Confessor is the king's torturer. In Game of Thrones, that was the guy who beheads Ned Stark. There's a couple of those in Game of Thrones as well.
Wow.
So he's actually literally in the basement torturing people all day. Or overseeing those types of activities, yeah.
Man.
He's
sure he targets his victims' feet.
Oh, no. God. You're going to make all that worse.
We know he's into feet. Now we know he's a torturer.
The feet thing, actually, I should say, it's of all the weird things these characters get into, he can, like, feed all day. I don't care. But
yep. Good for him.
She's my queen.
It's funny, he idolizes feet because he's got a club foot. Is that it?
Uh-huh.
He's into like tiny woman feet, and he just wants the slow takeoff of the stocking. Man, what a scene.
Yeah, I'm so innocent to the whole foot thing. The whole first half of that scene, the first time watching it, I was like, man, he's breathing heavy, huh? And then she takes her socks off, and it was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's
It all
something.
made sense.
This show fit it all in. So we've gone over the feet. That was kind of one of the weird things. But now there was also a kid fight club. Oh, here we are. We had sharpened nails, sharpened teeth, and these are like basically slaves that are fighting each other in a pit. And we have Aegon, who is named king later in this episode, who frequently visits this place, and he bets on the games. He enjoys this scene, and he also has
And the
several
women there,
children,
apparently.
he said,
Yeah.
that were in this circuit of slave children. And they point out one blonde kid that looks like a little, Targaryen bastard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've seen those before. We said a couple episodes we wanted more kid fights. This is not what we meant.
No.
The first
seriously.
one was kind of funny. The more times I watched it, which by the time I was done editing that episode was honestly like 10 times I watched that kid fight, and it was funnier every time. But this is not what we meant.
No.
This is not what we meant.
No,
this
this
was
one-
just like, oh, really?
Not
Oh.
a feel-good kid fight.
No, I'm not going to watch that.
No, and it's just like
fun.
we were saying before, like how could Aegon Targaryen get any worse? And then this episode, he's literally like in a place betting on children fighting, assumed to the death. At least like they're really hurting each other. And then he's also got his own bastard
own
children
kid
there
might even be
that
in
he
there.
watches fight. Like, this is so crazy.
Definitely he has his own kids, because they mention like he's got more, likely.
Yeah.
And not only so at the very least, they're in that environment, if not fighting in it too. And yeah, that's just like, wow.
Yeah, I think it was assumed that they were going to be fighting in it because they were just more kid slaves. Maybe they have to get bigger. I don't know. But it was definitely the kind of thing, the kind of topic that when I heard it, I'm watching this, it's like, this is the first time I've ever even considered that people would do this. This is actually hurtful a little bit to my psyche. It's intense. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
really want this in my head, but now I am thinking this might exist somewhere in real life, and I hate that kind of thought, but that's what comes with watching this. And maybe it is, and that's also what's sad about it. Like, I don't know. It's just really depraved and awful, and to think that people would do it is horrible. But maybe people do, and Jesus, it's just really, really evil.
I think it's safe to say this time he couldn't get worse. I'm going to say it again.
I hope that's true.
The way these shows go, I'm sure once again I'll be proven wrong, but I mean, I can't imagine it. It's like you have bastard kids that you leave in this place, and they're gonna be like fighting like this, like your own children. It's just like, again, like I don't know how he could get worse, but he's already a rapist too. And
I'm thinking as I watch these kids that they're probably the product of rape, because he's not supposed to legitimately having sex with anyone, because he's, they would be royalty if he had children. And, I don't know. I feel like he's just the rapist who you're kind of to assume some of those kids are rape babies, but maybe not.
No, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility at all. I think we've seen a couple now in King's Landing. We had the brothel that Rhaenyra is brought to on her nice sweet little date with Daemon that night. That was really grimy. And then now we have this whole side of King's Landing too, and it's damn queen, like,
which he pretty much did.
Which he did.
I think with Hightower, I do suspect that there is more nefarious stuff to come with him. But I think that right now, we focused on Alicent this episode, and it's been a dichotomy between Rhaenyra and Alicent in most episodes. So this episode was really focused on Alicent and her end of things at King's Landing. And I think that for me, a big part of this episode, I guess I'll start by saying I trust Alicent. is genuine, that she's doing what she thinks her husband wanted now at this point. Mm-hmm. I think she genuinely doesn't want Rhaenyra to die, and she wants this to be like everyone is friends kind of thing. And I genuinely think that she wants what's best for her family. That being said, I think I can no longer like her almost at all because of what she's doing with her son and promoting this guy. He's so awful and terrible, and I just can't forgive her for wanting him to be a king and saying lines like, this is what's better for the realm, and that she's thinking about the people, because there's no way that this guy, Aegon, is good for the people.
Know.
Her brother knows, or her son knows, Aemond, he knows that this guy is going to fuck this up.
I totally agree with Aegon. I mean, Aegon, his character is just like an abort situation, like abort this. Like, all right, I know I've been working for 20 years to make my bloodline king, which is crazy, just considering what he came from, and to work himself into this situation. It's kind of amazing. He's obviously he shouldn't have been underestimated by anybody, but then you see Aegon growing up, and you got to be like, man, I guess I got to call this off. Like,
yeah.
And Alicent, too. I totally agree with everything you said. I totally think, if you don't think that she believes Viserys was talking about her son, go watch it again. She did. She was confused, but she didn't know what he meant by Song of Ice and Fire. Everybody on stage, and like nobody's looking at him. They're all just kind of like, dude.
I know. And until they like told the crowd to cheer, like no one cheered. They were like, "Behold, your king!" And everyone just like stared at him.
Yeah, there's like a couple little claps.
And then they're like, "Cheer!" They're like, "Okay, yay!" Man, that was weird. I mean, one other thing though, actually, I just thought of was, I wonder. Even when you just showed it to me again, I think that when they wrapped Viserys up, that is dragon skin. That's like a molted dragon, like a lizard or a snake would molt. I think that's what that is.
That would be cool.
It's like kind of crinkly. It's got a diamond shaped pattern, like
it definitely
scales.
Patterned. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. That would be a neat.
It's a little see through, which is kind of how it would be.
Oh yeah, it has
shiny
a texture. It very well might be. Oh, it's...
Dude, look at that.
Oof.
It's shiny. Just the royal kids, like, getting their dragon on or getting their daggers out. I'm ready.
Daggers and cloaks. Daggers and cloaks. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. We'll see Team Black, and we'll see their reaction. We'll see what happens.
Pumped.
I think that's about it. For this one. But, yeah, it'll be fun. We got last episode coming up, and then that'll be it for a while.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited.
Hell yeah.
But until next time, use your head.
Bye! Maybe you're right. Maybe it's just, I don't recognize it. It's like Blood Diamond. Leonardo DiCaprio has a South African accent, and it's rated like one of the worst accents in a movie, even though it's actually a super accurate accent. Because it's not familiar to people, they hear it and think it's a terrible... I remember seeing that and feeling like, oh man, his accent's so bad in this movie. But then there was a video with a linguist who broke it down and was like, this is like a really good accent.
Yeah, he probably went there and figured it out for a while, and then people were like, "He did a bad job."
Yeah, yeah, I tried so hard.
Instead of aeroplane way full with grenade launchers, something I go to the government, huh? Then government at least then go pay me, huh?
Wait.
Did you ever see this movie?
Yeah. Listen. Yeah, I did.
I remember it being pretty good.
Yeah, I thought so. I was about stuff with the diamond trade I didn't know about. It was interesting.
Yeah.
Led me to look up some other stuff afterwards.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, Capote.
I'd only just handed in the final
master
scene
of
when the
accents.
bellhop told me I had a phone call.
This is just amazing in every way. His
Literally.
particular vocal quality and mannerisms are just like Capote's.
I think journalism can be taught, but I don't think creative writing can be taught.
The accent is dead on perfect.
It was my
That's a really good movie.
stepfather, Joe Capote,
And the accent's totally integrated.
calling to say that my mother had died.
It's integral to the character and what the actor is doing as the character.
He had quite a lot to say about us.
Philip Seymour Hoffman. Sad guy. He was really great.
He died?
He did. Is it alcohol or drugs? Yeah, pretty young. Hoffman struggled with drug addiction as a young adult, relapsed in 2020. He died of combined drug intoxication, who writes weird, like esoteric self-help kind of stuff. And it starts there, and then he writes a book on a boat, and then he buries it in the desert. And then he goes back years later and digs it back up, and all that's in the movie. And that's what the Scientology dude did. It's really, I love that movie.
I think I did see this.
Oh, yeah. Ron Hubbard, that's the guy I was trying to think of.
I think I saw this.
It's so gorgeous.
With Joaquin Phoenix, isn't it, right?
Yeah.
I think I did see this.
It's in my top 5. Like when I think of my favorite movies, it just comes to mind. I don't know where it would place on it, but like,
I
damn.
definitely saw this.
Really interesting, the two of them together. That's good stuff. He's a good director. He writes his own stuff too. Paul Thomas Anderson.
Sorry. It's good to laugh during processing. Sometimes we forget. Even if it is the sound of an animal.